Good afternoon, Niagara and the world. I'm Cameron Jones, and this is your Niagara Real Estate News. So 2020 has been a weird year. I feel like that's not breaking news for you to hear that. Between the pandemic and business closures and job losses and the dip in the economy, there's basically a lot of trends that we're seeing that aren't necessarily positive. But somewhere that we're actually seeing positive growth is in the real estate market. And this is from coast to coast. So not just Niagara, but all across Canada. In fact, it's just about booming when we look at the declining inventory and growing demand for properties. Just over this past summer and leading into the fall, the Niagara Association of Realtors, or NAR, reported a big last few months, with prices in August up 15.3% from the year prior, August 2019, which now makes the average price in Niagara about $491,000, or just under $500,000. And not only that, but there was a big change in the number of days that it took to sell a property, which actually reduced in some areas by half as many days, but across the board about 10 days. But even though the prices in Niagara in the region as a whole are around $500,000, Niagara is still one of the most affordable places that you can live or you can invest or you can buy. It's really an affordable region to move in terms of real estate. And especially in places like Fort Erie or Port Colborne or Wainfleet, those places still have housing prices that are on average below $400,000. Obviously, there's places in Niagara where the housing is a little bit more expensive, like Niagara-on-the-Lake, which the average price is over $800,000. But you can see that looking at the different pockets of Niagara as a whole and in specific areas, it's very affordable to live. Now, where we're seeing this change in demand come from is in demographics. So before in Niagara, what used to really drive demand and drive housing prices up was retirees coming from different areas and retiring here in the region. Now what we're seeing is you've still got that happening, but we're seeing people come out of these major metropolitan hubs like Hamilton and Toronto and start moving down to the region because it's more affordable and it's quieter. There's smaller towns here. And because of the pandemic, people are starting to not necessarily seek out that metropolitan life and be close to the office anymore. They're coming down and settling in smaller towns, and Niagara's full of them. So naturally, we're attracting a lot of those professionals who are moving in, and of course, those families who are now able to work from home. Basically, in short, it's families and professionals who are leaving the big cities to get a better bang for their buck when it comes to square footage in their house. And something else that's really driving demand right now is going to be the historically low interest rates that are seen across Canada. There's never been an easier or cheaper time to borrow, and so therefore there's never been a cheaper or easier time to invest. So between the very low interest rates that we're seeing and the new changes in society or kind of work behavior or lifestyle, those things are really starting to affect the demand in Niagara. And so ultimately, what does this mean for you? This means for you that it's a fantastic time to buy or sell in Niagara. Now, I know that's something that you would typically hear from a realtor, but there's really good reasons why. For buyers, getting into the market now is super smart because you're only going to see that property appreciate over time, especially in the short term. For sellers, this is a fantastic time for you to sell a property because there's tons of buyers looking to get into the market. So you're going to find a fantastic price for your house and a lot of people who would be willing to pay over asking and even get into certain bidding wars for it. And for investors, this all rings true because people are starting to flood into the market. And of course, those property values are only going to go up in the near future and long term too. So on the whole, to summarize, the last few months have been record-breaking almost for Niagara. We're seeing the market really heat up. So as we're seeing the weather cool down, the market is sustainably hot. And we're looking to see that growth continue into 2021. But on the whole, this is a fantastic time to be buying, selling, or investing in Niagara. And of course, if you're looking to do any of those, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever you want, send a carrier pigeon. I'll be here to help whenever you're ready. For this edition of Monthly Market Updates, I'm Cameron Jones, and this has been your Niagara Real Estate News.